Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel and to this video about track building techniques in Satisfactory. Sorry this next video has been some time in coming. Since update 4 I have been sorting out the effects it had on my builds and then relearning vanilla building methods. Having just unlocked tier 7, I've also been having too much fun with update 4 to stop and make a video. I've made several comments on Reddit that railways are easy, so now it's time to put my money where my mouth is. I have to admit that much of my original network was built using the Area Actions mod, but I am also going to start with some vanilla techniques. To start with, I'll demonstrate the techniques, and then I'll show you my methods for planning and extending my network. Part 1. Basic techniques. Straight track. Why does it sometimes have kinks along it? Right, first things first, for track building, the things that I start to work with, this is in very basic vanilla mode, are some foundations. Always helps in lining up your track. Lookout towers, so that you can see down onto what you're working on. And I have the jetpack, just to help me get between the lookout towers. As you'll probably hear some growling in this area, there are a couple of hogs that I've come across that I haven't dealt with so far, so I don't want to get too close to them. Now, as far as I understand it, the track is laid as a spline. Won't bother with any of the maths for that, but what it means is that the shape of the track is defined by the angle at the track start and the angle at the track end. Now, it won't do it here, because I've tried, but in certain places when you lay a straight, for some reason you get the odd kink in it. Well, this is a way to make sure you don't get those kinks. So what I do is I come to build my first stretch of track, somewhere down here. I line it up with the foundation in the middle, which is about there, and I then draw a short length of straight track, like that. And then if you then draw in your straight, you'll find however you've done it, that will be straight as a die without any kinks. So having laid the track, you now just delete the end bit and carry on. The next part, why can't I get curves to do what I want? It's very easy to start laying curves and it will follow a tight curve round just to give you a shape approaching a station or something like that. But what if you want a rather broader curve? I mean, this straight track is actually not much use because it's heading straight into some rock. I want to sweep round clear of that rock and then head off in this direction. Now, this was just about the maximum length of track I could run. So when you're doing curves, you need to allow for the curve of the track as well. And the trick here again is setting your finishing angle. To do that, put some foundations in where you want the joint to happen. So, time to go for some foundations. Angle them for the actual rail joint, where you want the rail joint to happen. And I'm going to put it at about this sort of angle, which should take me nicely around this rock. So, putting in more than I need there actually, because I usually work with double track, but I'll use one set of these. Now the trick here is not let the mouse take over, but put two foundations down where you want your joint to happen, in the middle of those foundations, and then put an extra one in. Yet again, put in your track to set your outgoing angle. That's no good because it's not going where I want. And then run your track from there out to there, and you get a really nice even curve between the 2 points. Delete that, and I want it to go straight a bit further on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just jet over to this area to get a better vantage point. Hope I don't run out of fuel while I do it. Yeah, just made it. Right, so it's more over here. So, another pair of foundation. And that one did not go where I wanted it. There we are. Following the curve with my eye, I want it to come round something like that. So, 1, 2, 3, put in the end track, put in the start, and there it goes. Then delete that one, and I have two really nice curves going round the rock as I want. Fairly straightforward. Now, the other thing here, of course, is I'm using the jetpack. It's much easier to do this with the hover pack. So for that, you can see in the distance there, I have a length of track coming down. If you're using the hover pack, make sure you have connected your track to something that's powered, and that way you can keep floating over your track work. You don't have to worry about the lookout towers. Right, now gradients. I've now changed to the hover pack and I've connected this track to this short stub, so I've now got a powered section that I can float over. The simplest way to do gradients is on a short climb. Start flat, go up your gradient and finish flat. So if I'm going to ease my way over here a little bit, I'm then going to put in some foundations which will give me some height. Now I work on one loco with 4 cars. Basically, they can handle 2 meters in every 8. So I'm going to do a similar thing to before. I'm just going to put in 3 foundations. I'm going to put in my short length of rail to set the track. And then literally draw this straight in, and there you are, a nice smooth transition into the gradient and out again. And you may have seen just down there one of the hogs has started patrolling around. Alright, we'll keep our eye on that one. Right, if you want to do more than that, in other words keep the gradient going, what I do is I look at the terrain that I'm working on, or the kind of gradient I want, and I put in the slopes that I think would suit. I mean, if there's already a slope on the ground and it looks like it's 1 meter in 8, I'll use 1 meter in 8 ramps. If not, if it's steeper, I'll use 2 meter in 8 ramps. So to give you the example again, if I now go and build another pillar, I'll make this a 2 meter ramp arrangement. And then if I go for the ramps, which should be 8, yes. So start here with a 2 meter in 8. Put in a support for the next length of ramp. In fact, I might as well put in the support for the last length of ramp while I'm at it, which is going to be over here. Got it. Right. Just use the middle mouse wheel click to select that, and again I've put in more ramps than I'll actually need. So we then put in the track from here up the slope and run the track. Then I can carry on to the next stretch, put another set of ramps in and keep the slope going. For curved gradients, it's just a combination of these. You move the blocks further over, angle the blocks, and then you'll run your ramp up and onto the next set of blocks. Okay, time to see these methods in action. If you lay track on the ground, or like me, a few meters above it, survey your route on the map. I want to set up a second aluminium factory which is going to look after batteries. Now in this loop around of this river there are some bauxite nodes, plenty of deep water and the other resources that I need. This is my existing track. So there's the loop of river I'm aiming for. The track is running along through here. I've decided what I want to do is probably come up through here and into this region. Okay, so we'll find that on the Satisfactory map, and that, if I zoom in, is about here. Now this is the early stage survey. What I'm looking for are the contour lines on the route that I want to take, and I should be able to squeeze tracks through here, one either side of that pillar of rock. And then work my way up through here somehow, along through there probably, along here, and then into this region. Okay, the next stage is to get in an Explorer and see how viable that route really is. So here we are on the ground in the Explorer, and we're going to have a look round the route by eye. Sort of things I'm looking for. Can I get the track through? Avoid any gas clouds or anything like that. Now if I look through here, there's a few trees in the way. I'm going to try and work my way up through this side, heading up into the sunrise. To be honest, yes, I can get a single track up through there, and the other side I think is a bit wider. Oh, there's a hog. Yeah, I can get a track through there. I could even get a double track through there if I wanted. So, the first part of the survey is okay. I now want to come out and round and along in this direction. The gradients look fine. There's nothing that particularly bother me along there. I want to head up in this sort of direction. Yes, a bit of a slope up, but again, nothing's really going to, hello doggo, going to cause me any problems. Just pause here and check the map. I need to be heading more over in this direction. So in fact, that gradient's irrelevant. It's actually a lot smoother out that way. Try not to get the car stuck in the water. You'll usually find if you're following the major paths as they're laid out, then you'll have no real problems getting a railway through there. As you can see, I have some mods installed, but at this precise moment I'm not using them. I might zigzag the train and the track around these paths, rather than going over the humps in between. Really just depends on how I feel. That's going to be an interesting bit to try and get through. Sounds like some spiders are around as well. I recall coming out this area before when I was searching for nodes. Hello, hello, hello. Ah, it's a water node, I think. So, yep, still going in the right direction though. Anyway, I'll carry on surveying, and that really is my method of playing. I work out where I want the track to go, and then I start laying it. Here I am with my Trailblazer train, which carries the majority of my materials for track building. And what I'm going to do is start looking at putting the first few sections around this rock to see what sort of shape I'm going to need for my junction. Now this could be interesting because I've probably not got enough space to swing the curves around to meet up with this track. So I might move this bit of track, or I might swing it up and over and do something else. I'm not sure yet. So let's make a start. The first bit is I want to get a line through the first part between these rocks of about there. Oh, and you can see my railways are, usually about 8 to 12 meters up above ground level, so that I can drive explorers and other vehicles underneath. So here goes. Start with a foundation. That looks like about my best line for this first bit. So I'm thinking about there. Now, come round to the side. That to me looks like a 1 meter in 8 climb, so I'll work on that basis. Okay, so I'll come up a couple of foundations. In fact, no, we'll come up one more, then start with one here. Okay, time for the ramps. As you can see, I've got my shortcut set up to help me with this kind of building. There we are. Right. I think I want the joint to start here. So we'll line that down like that. And there's the first part of my ramp leading up there. Now, I have to admit, I do find area actions a lot easier for this, so I'm going to switch over to area actions and tucked in here somewhere. There we are. That means I don't have to worry about powering. Okay, to carry on through here, I'm going to need to swing this way and probably finish the curve about where that cursor's pointing. So, we'll start with putting some more foundations down. I'm not bothering with the look of it too much at the moment, because simply I'm going to tidy this up a bit later and make the foundations and the supports look better. And then 2 more. Track in. Run this track round. And that has worked perfectly. I have the clearance I need for a train to get through there. Yep, I'm happy with that. Question is, no, I don't think I'm going to join the two tracks together yet. I think I'll have to do that slightly differently. And I'm getting growled at again. 2 of them. They are a bit of a pain because obviously they are not permitting me to put a foundation down precisely where I want it. So I'm going to have to work around them. Just check that for level. It's about the same. As you can see, once you get into the flow of this, it does get rather quicker. That down there. Right, then this wants to swing into a line similar to that. So if we put it about there, It's going to be heading in the same sort of direction, ready to join. As you can see at the moment, I'm not fussed if it's exactly the same height. They will connect. And the other thing I will do is probably chop this tree down a bit later on, just to get it out of the way. There we have a climb. A nice smooth curve is an S-bend, and it is still clear of everything that I need to miss. So, basically I just carry on following the same pattern. I think I'm going to have to move that track. There's no way I'm going to get a curve round in that space. So, I'll rethink that junction, and then I'll show you how all that comes out a bit later. I'm sorry about this. Following the previous clips, I actually pushed right on and ended up finishing this junction and finishing the line out to the battery base over through here, simply because I really wanted to get batteries in production so I could start playing with drones. As I mentioned, I did have to swing the track a little bit further out to make room for the junction. You can see there I've moved it really just a foundation further out and realigned it here to suit. That was to get this curve in. That took quite a bit of trial and error to get that one right. And so I've got an entry curve in this direction, and an entry curve from the other track with my Trailblazer train sitting on it. Here comes one zipping on through. Then on the outlet side, I brought this track down to run parallel with that one and heading off to take it out in that direction, and lifted it up and just squeezed it round past that cliff, getting the right height and bringing it down onto the opposite track. As you can see, I still need to put the various supports in, make it look good to match Battersea Power Station. Okay, let's go and join this train and head over to the batteries station. I did manage to squeeze this through here, just keeping clear of both cliff edges. Couldn't quite straighten the track up till I got to this point. I did plan to look at whether I'd follow the zigzags of the paths, but by the time I built all these stations out, as you can see, I covered that area anyway. Various platforms, not all in use. That one is taking aluminium ingots away. That one is delivering sulphur to the battery production. This platform is simply for my construction train, but as that's a full 9-car train, this separate track keeps it well clear of all the other traffic. So you can see my trackwork on the entry. It comes in with the platform separated far enough that I can fit in tidily the 3 foundation radius curves just to bring the track straight in, nice and neat. Actually, I'm misleading you there. These are actually 2.5 foundation radius, which is the tightest you can usually manage. That was just to get it into the space I was working in. Usually I work on 3. And then if I go over to this place, the opposite end, you can see I do very much the same on the way out, and these are actually 3 foundation radius coming out. And as you've noticed, I do have this drone port. I'm shipping batteries by drone. I need them out at the main base where I've got a few other drone ports and it's feeding that. And I'll also need some batteries for production, but this is able to ship enough for me. And then you have the battery production. Sulfuric acid over there. Rest of the processing in the background behind that pipe work, and then the batteries themselves being made here. And I've got enough bauxite for 630 per minute aluminium ingots coming out and feeding into the train that you saw a little bit earlier that was collecting them and taking them away. I'm quite pleased with this build. It worked out quite compact.
and I found that it was quite easy in quite a short run to come in from that direction. So I think I made the right decision there. And that's my track building methods.
Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe to catch more videos as they come out.